What if you could decide your child's future before they were even born? Not just their school or their career, but their very biology. What if diseases that have plagued our families for generations could be wiped from our DNA with a single, precise edit? This isn't science fiction. This is the world we're stepping into. A world where humanity holds the blueprint of life in its own hands. Over the next 1,000 years, our species will undergo a transformation more profound than anything in our history. We are on the cusp of becoming the architects of our own evolution, and the choices we make now will echo for millennia, shaping not just our destiny, but the very definition of what it means to be human. Forget what you think you know about the future. The real story is written in our genes. For centuries, humanity has been at the mercy of the genetic lottery. Hereditary diseases like cystic fibrosis, Huntington's, and sickle cell anemia have been passed down through generations, casting long shadows of suffering and uncertainty over countless families. These conditions are etched into our DNA, mistakes in the code that have, until now, been uncorrectable. We could only treat the symptoms, manage the pain, and hope that the next generation might be spared. But the dawn of a new era in medicine is breaking, and its light is powered by a revolutionary technology. CRISPR, this powerful gene editing tool, acts like a molecular pair of scissors, allowing scientists to find, cut, and replace specific segments of DNA with unprecedented precision. The implications are staggering. We are no longer passive inheritors of our genetic fate. We are becoming its active editors. In the coming decades, this technology will move from the laboratory to the clinic, offering the potential to eliminate hereditary diseases entirely. Imagine a world where a simple genetic therapy administered before birth or even before conception could correct the mutations responsible for these devastating illnesses. A child who would have been born with a debilitating condition could instead live a full, healthy life, free from the genetic burden of their ancestors. This isn't just about preventing disease. It's about fundamentally rewriting our biological narrative. The ability to edit the human germline, the DNA in sperm, eggs, and embryos that is passed down to future generations means that these corrections would be permanent. The corrected gene would be passed on, effectively eradicating the disease from a family's lineage forever. The ethical debates are, of course, immense and complex. The line between therapy and enhancement is a fine one, and the power to alter the human gene pool carries a weight of responsibility we are only beginning to comprehend. However, the momentum is undeniable. As the technology becomes safer, more accessible, and more effective, the moral imperative to alleviate human suffering will likely drive its adoption. In the next 1,000 years, the concept of a hereditary disease might become a relic of the past, a historical footnote in medical textbooks. Our descendants may look back on our time with a sense of wonder and pity, marveling at an age when humans were still subject to the random cruelties of their own biology. The mastery of our genome promises a future where we can offer every child the gift of a healthy start, freeing humanity from the genetic chains that have bound us for millennia. Once we have mastered the ability to eliminate genetic flaws, the next logical step is not just to fix what is broken, but to improve upon the original design. The same CRISPR technology that can cure hereditary diseases can also be used to enhance our natural abilities, pushing the boundaries of human potential far beyond what we consider normal today. This is the realm of designer babies and genetically enhanced humans, a concept that has long been the subject of dystopian fiction but is rapidly approaching scientific reality. The most immediate and perhaps least controversial enhancements will likely target intelligence by identifying and manipulating the complex network of genes associated with cognitive functions like memory, processing speed, and problem-solving. We could engineer individuals with significantly heightened intellectual capacities. Imagine a generation of scientists, artists, and engineers whose minds operate on a level we can barely conceive, capable of solving the world's most intractable problems, from climate change to interstellar travel. This enhanced intelligence wouldn't just be about higher IQ scores. It would represent a fundamental upgrade to the human mind, unlocking new forms of creativity, understanding, and consciousness. Beyond the mind, genetic enhancement could reshape our physical forms. Genes controlling muscle growth, bone density, and metabolic efficiency could be optimized to create individuals with superior strength, endurance, and resilience. Soldiers could be engineered to be faster and stronger, with enhanced senses and accelerated healing. Athletes could break records that seem impossible today. Even for the average person, enhancements could lead to a life with less physical frailty and a greater capacity for activity well into old age. Perhaps the most profound enhancement of all would be the extension of the human lifespan. Scientists are already identifying genes linked to the aging process, such as those that regulate cellular repair and telomere length. By editing these genes, we could dramatically slow down, or perhaps even halt, the biological decay that leads to old age and death. A lifespan of several hundred years, lived in a state of perpetual youth and vigor, could become the new standard. This wouldn't just be more time. It would be a fundamental redefinition of the human experience, altering our perspectives on career, family, and the meaning of life itself. The children of the next millennium may not be born equal. They may be born with a suite of genetic upgrades that make them, by today's standards, superhuman. The widespread adoption of genetic engineering will inevitably lead to the most significant divergence in the human species since our ancestors first walked out of Africa. Humanity is likely to fracture into distinct, coexisting versions, each defined by their relationship with this transformative technology. The first group will be the naturals, those who, for philosophical, religious, or economic reasons, choose to forego genetic modification. They will represent the baseline of our species, the last carriers of an unedited human genome. They might view themselves as the preservers of authentic humanity, guardians of a biological heritage that has been evolving for millions of years. To them, the enhanced might seem like unnatural aberrations, a departure from the essence of what it means to be human. They would live their lives much as we do now, subject to the familiar cycles of birth, aging, and disease. Their potential defined by the random shuffle of their parents' genes. They could form their own communities, perhaps in isolated regions, attempting to shield their way of life from the pervasive influence of genetic technology. At the other end of the spectrum will be the enhanced. This group will fully embrace genetic mastery, viewing the human body not as a sacred temple, but as a platform to be upgraded and perfected. They will see no moral distinction between curing a disease and enhancing an ability, arguing that both serve the goal of improving the human condition. The enhanced will be stronger, smarter, and longer-lived. Their children will be born with carefully selected genetic advantages, giving them a profound head start in life. This biological schism will create social and economic divides unlike anything we have ever seen. How can an Atra compete with an enhanced individual who can learn faster, work longer, and think on a level that is biologically inaccessible to them? The enhanced could quickly become a new ruling class. Their genetic superiority translating directly into social, political, and economic power. They might view the naturals with a mixture of pity and contempt as primitive relics of a bygone era, holding back the progress of the species. Between these two extremes, a third and perhaps largest group will emerge. The hybrids. These individuals will represent a middle ground, using genetic technology in a more limited and targeted way. They might choose to eliminate hereditary diseases from their family line and perhaps opt for modest enhancements, a strengthened immune system, improved eyesight, or a slightly increased lifespan, while shunning more radical modifications to intelligence or physical form. The hybrids will navigate a complex ethical landscape, constantly weighing the benefits of technology against the potential risks and the desire to maintain a connection to their natural human identity. Their existence will blur the lines between the other two groups, creating a spectrum of human diversity rather than a simple binary. This tripartite division of humanity will be the defining social challenge of the next 1,000 years. It will force us to confront fundamental questions about equality, identity, and justice. Can these different versions of humanity coexist peacefully? Or is a new form of biological class struggle inevitable? The future society we build will depend entirely on how we answer these questions. The journey over the next 1,000 years will be a tightrope walk between utopia and oblivion. With the power to direct our own evolution, we hold the potential to create a future free from disease, limitation, and even death itself. We could unlock reservoirs of creativity and intelligence that would allow us to solve our greatest challenges and reach for the stars. But this same power carries the risk of creating a fractured and unequal world, a biological caste system that could lead to conflict and oppression on an unprecedented scale. The choices we make in this century, the regulations we enact, the ethical lines we draw, and the values we choose to prioritize will determine which path we take. Will we use our newfound knowledge to uplift all of humanity, or will we allow it to divide us? The story of humanity's next chapter is not yet written. We are the authors, and the pen is in our hands. The question is, what kind of future will we choose to write?